I like to call all the young people to form an army, to vow to live a certain way. There should not be a condemnation of where they are, but an aspiration of where they want to be. The young ones among us should be able to say to one another, "You live this way, I want to live this way too." The Lord has not put us in the greenhouse. He has put us in the arena. And every day you're fighting the beast, your job, your family, your children. And in the midst of all these things, you have to be an overcomer. That's the vision.
What you have just heard is an excerpt from a fellowship Brother Andrew Yu gave during a special gathering in 2007, where he shared his burden for the working saints to become vitalized. His fellowship from this and 2 other gatherings in 2008 were aired as the very first series of the Living to Him podcast, which was launched in January of 2021. Because the fellowship from this series is so impactful in calibrating, we are re-airing the 9 episodes of this series until the end of this year. We hope that this fellowship will touch all of us in a fresh way and bring us to consecrate ourselves to the Lord anew. May we be able to say to one another, "You live this way, I want to live this way too." Here is the next episode.
Welcome back to the Living to Him podcast. This is a continuation of our series, Being Vitalized for a Normal Christian Life and Service. In today's podcast, we have part 2 of sharing by Brother Andrew Yu on 7 points of vital living. This is an excerpt taken from a fellowship given in Anaheim, California on December 29th, 2007. You can access the full audio at livingtohim.com.
I like to call all the young people to form an army, to vow to live a certain way. There should not be a condemnation of where they are, but an aspiration of where they want to be. The young ones among us should be able to say to one another, "You live this way, I want to live this way too." The Lord has not put us in the greenhouse. He has put us in the arena. And every day you're fighting the beast, your job, your family, your children. And in the midst of all these things, you have to be an overcomer. That's the vision. That's the vision of a job-keeping full-timer. Let's recruit the saints into an exercise. Let's call them to a living. Let's create websites, create newsletters, get connected, pursue the truth, form fellowship groups, encourage one another to live this way. If we raise up 3,000 saints who would sign up for 1 quarter, and if we give ourselves to practice this, to exercise ourselves in this, like joining a health club, except it's spiritual health club. We will have an army of vital young working ones, not full-timers, working ones. And again, I say that's where the 95% is. Every quarter, you make a new commitment, and when you give yourself, you exercise to do all or some of these 7 things. I need a prayer partner. I give myself for the Lord's interests. I give myself to have a structured reading program. I give myself for the Lord to manage my finance. This quarter 3,000, next quarter 3,000, every quarter 3,000. And when the quarter is over, you sign up again. We help the saints to live an exercise living, a vital living. Practice what it means to practically live the God-man living. Periodically, we can come together and we can have blending times. During these times, we study the high peak truths, but study it with a focused direction on how we can apply it to our living to be an overcomer in our job and in our family. To get into this real living is more than rocket science. It's more than rocket science. I'm hoping that many brothers and sisters would rise up to take the lead to enter into this kind of exercise. This is just as important as the campus work, as the young people's work, or even the full-time training. We train the young people just to get them into this. And now if they're not getting into this, then we're wasting our training. Wouldn't it be an encouragement to those with jobs and family to see some have this kind of living? There are those who flounder and don't know how to consecrate themselves or where to consecrate themselves. This would be an encouragement for those who don't know how to balance themselves between their job and the church life. I'm not talking about a service that interrupts your church life. No, it doesn't interrupt your church life. I'm talking about an exercise that is integrated very much into your church life. What is this like? This is like joining an invisible full-time training. A continuing, ongoing spiritual education, full-time training. You know, New Zealand is getting all their graduates to sign up online for some continuing courses. They get units, they read books, they have vital companions. For us, the burden is there, but the practice is not here. So our young ones graduate from the training, and they're pushed into the open field, unarmed, unprepared. 90% of these ones eventually are not full-timers. They go to work. If our overcomers are not produced out of this group, it is not produced at all. This is one big need among us. We should do something like that before we get others saved. We should get our 3,000 saved, 3,000 of our own saved first. Saved from the locusts that consume all your time. Not just saved from sin, but saved from the locusts, which is the human government, everything that eats up your time. The licking locusts, the swarming locusts, the cutting locusts, the consuming locusts, consuming our time. What happens today is that rather than you taking hold of your time is taking hold of you. Rather than you taking hold of your money is taking hold of you. Your credit card is leading your life. The worst thing is to be not vital and yet still doing a church service and doing a church life. I love the saints. I love the brothers and sisters. I hate to see them having a feeling of hopelessness or living a life full of anxiety. I don't like to see that. Read the last 7 chapters of life study of Philippians. They talk about a life of no anxiety. Today we're saying we're cutting Lord's Move to Europe budget, we're cutting Austin budget, campus budget. If we get 3,000 brothers and sisters who would subscribe to this kind of living, and each one of them set aside $100 for the Lord's interest, you know how much that is? $300,000 every month to support the Lord's work. And what is $100? 1 Starbucks coffee a day. 1 Starbucks coffee a day. That's $100. Brother Lee talked about 20 supporting 1. This does not mean that 19 are benefactors and one is beneficiary. That's our concept. Rather, it should be 20 beneficiaries and 20 benefactors. We're the same. We live the same. What make you? Well, let me say it. What make a full-timer have the exclusive privilege of driving a full-timer car, and you don't have that privilege? You can only have the privilege of driving a Mercedes. What gives you? What gives him that exclusive right? Why don't you share that right? Can it be done? Yes. But it needs someone to cross the river first. And crossing the river means you live like a full-timer even while you are not a full-timer. I like to see 3,000 brothers and sisters praying 3 times a week to pray for the Lord's interests. Their heart is completely one with those going to Europe, to Africa, to Asia, to all parts of the world. It's a shame for some in the work to have to go back to a job just because there is no support. It's not a shame for them to go back to job. It's a shame for the rest who are holding on to jobs already. Where are they? What I am talking about here is a matter of God-man living. If we take up those 7 things I talk about, that is effectively and substantially the God-man living. I'm not talking about changing anything in your church life. I'm talking about changing the spiritual health structure. Build up the saints from the ground level up. This is in the principle of building the vital groups. You can still serve in your campus work or in your children's meeting, but be vital. Get related to others by intercessory prayer, just like the full-timers do, but in a miniature way. This is a scaled-down version of an ongoing full-time training. You can call it that way. If we have this kind of practice, when a trainee graduates, we can peacefully allow him to go to get a job. We would happily recommend him to go to get a job because he will be a vital working saint. We have a vessel that will hold him, that will allow him to live a full-time life, although he is not a full-timer. I said perhaps we should do something in the middle-age training. Make some provision for a refresher course. You who have suffered and are under the burden of your job and family, come for a period of detoxification. Detoxify yourself for 1 week and then go back to your work. You need to set aside time to pray, and when you pray, when you start praying, when you start getting together with a few and start praying about yourself, then the haziness will go away and you will start getting into focus of what you need to do. The following, I read you this, is an outline from a message by Brother Lee to the working saints. I'll just read you the outline so that you know I'm not talking from myself. It says, a normal life and service. Scripture reading, then outline. Roman numeral 1. A normal life. A, being different from the world. Small 1. Those in the world belong to the world and are for the world. Small 2, the believers belong to the Lord and are for the Lord. Roman numeral B, being constrained by the Lord to live to the Lord. Roman numeral C, setting up a schedule of one's daily life. I didn't say it. Small 1, a schedule that is suitable for living to the Lord and serving Him. Small 2, having a budget in time in energy and finance. And yes, Brother Lee said, you need to budget your energy. Small a under 2, setting aside a fixed time every week and every day for the Lord. Small b, there being the need to budget one's strength for the Lord as well. Small c, in budgeting our finances, that which is for the Lord should be increased according to the prosperity bestowed by the Lord. That's Roman numeral 1, a normal life. That's not all. The definition of a vital person is living and active. Living is your life. Active is your service. So Roman numeral 2, a normal service. Cap A, offering up our bodies and our time. Small 1, according to budget. Small 2, not owing the Lord. Don't get on the credit card with the Lord. B, preaching the gospel to gain new ones. All of us need to get into an active practice of taking care of new ones. Small 1, being interested in sinners and praying for the unbelievers. Small 2, not being something of a temporary zeal. Small 3, but functioning in a normal and regular way. Then C, taking care of the home meetings and perfecting the new ones. Small 1, considering the new ones as one's joy. Small 2, teaching and shepherding patiently. Small 3, mainly cultivating the spirits of the new ones. Then point D, helping the meetings, that's the church meetings, and contacting the saints. Small 1, considering those being helped as one's glory. Small 2, helping them to mingle with the saints. Small 3, directing them to open to the saints for mutual fellowship, concern, love, and care. Then E, attending the district meetings to build up the church. Then there are 4 small points, and I'm going to skip that. Then F, building up the body of Christ. And I'm going to skip those small points too. You see that picture? Is that picture starting to evolve? Are you in that picture? Are you living this kind of life? Do you need to live this kind of life? Do you need to get into this health club? I'm not talking about a work. I'm not talking about doing things. I'm talking about get into this kind of living. Then I have something here from Watchman Nee, volume 61, where he talks about the full-timers and the non-full-timers living a habit of living in equality. In equality. The peak of the church life is when things are distributed to everyone according to his need. We should do our best to give away what we have. It is embarrassing for some brothers to have good things while others do not. It is a shame for me to have something while others do not. Please give me the liberty to say something. Let me relate my experience of handing myself over. There are things that I like to buy when I have a little money in my hand, but I'll always feel condemned when I have something and my co-workers do not. When you have something and your co-workers do not, Brother Nee said, I feel condemned. The first time I came to Hong Kong, I bought a Gillette shaver. It's a French brand. A kind of shaver. I bought a shaver. This kind of shaver is very common today, but at that time it was a famous name brand, and it was quite valuable. I came from a small place and considered it worthwhile to pay a little extra for it. The second time I came to Hong Kong, I bought 8 shavers of the same kind. I wanted to give them away to my co-workers. After I bought the shavers, I realized that I could not go away without buying the blades too, and I bought 8 blades as well. It makes me uneasy to think that I have something while my co-workers do not. At that time, the church did not have the practice of handing over everything. It was not common to do such a thing then. It is not a good thing for us to have something while other brothers do not. It is somewhat of a shame. Although we cannot make every household the same, at least we need to have the same heart. I want everyone to have what I have. We need to develop this habit. That's what I call sanctifying your finance. It's not a matter of what you buy or what you don't buy. It's a matter of asking the Lord when you do that. Do my conscience let me do it? It says in 1 Peter, the conscience, for conscience sake, live before the Lord. Not just for consciousness sake, not just for conscience. Although we cannot make every household the same, at least we need to have the same heart. I want everyone to have what I have. We need to develop this habit. Bring the whole church into the practice of Acts 2 and 4. It's not that simple. It takes a great many arrangements. However, we should always be moving in that direction step by step. We're not trying to practice Acts 2 and 4 here. No. We're not trying to practice communal living. No. But we need to move in that direction. We need to move in that direction. We do not want to go to the extreme. We're not here to practice hippie church life. But we need to move in that direction. I'm speaking the truth here. If the Lord is gracious to us, all of our businesses will support each other in the future, all the units will strengthen each other, and all the work of migration will be greatly enhanced. This kind of migration is the church preaching the gospel. Then they talk about handing ourselves over this way will open the way for us to love the Lord. It will also open the way for us to love our brothers and sisters. It will also open the way for us to love sinners. In other words, it's not because the work needs the money. It's because you need to have room in your heart to love the Lord, to love the brothers and sisters, and to love the sinner. If you find that that love is getting indifferent, pray about it.
Thank you for joining us today. To hear the complete recording and other messages, please visit livingtohim.com. If you would like to receive regular updates from us, please subscribe to this podcast and join our mailing list on our website. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, where our handle is @livingtohim.